Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Kapukatama haka tinoanga, ko Pakahakia te awa, ko Robert Henderson te waka, Anali Utipu, ki o te pauti, ko Gary Evans toko noa, nami nui kia koutou. Kia ora everybody, I'm Gary, I'm MBIE's Chief Science Advisor, and originally I'm from Dunedin. I grew up in Northeast Valley in Dunedin, and went to university there where I did my PhD in synthetic organic chemistry, which kind of sounds interesting, and it really is interesting. Here we're at Callaghan Innovation. I suppose around 2018 I saw an advertisement that MBIE put out for a Chief Science Advisor, and I kind of was aware of the Chief Science Advisors. I was certainly aware of the Prime Minister's Chief Science Advisor, who at the time was Juliet Gerard, and it actually turned out that I'd spent or knew her from the University of Oxford when I was there as a postdoc, and she was doing a DPhil. And so I was kind of vaguely aware of these roles of science advisors, providing, I suppose, evidence to inform policy generation within the ministry. And so I thought, I'll apply for this. I kind of won a couple of awards as part of the work I'd done. And so, it was peer esteem, I suppose. My peers tended to think that what I did was okay, published a lot of papers, so the research community, at least thought that what I was doing was an appropriate standard. And so and I was just really interested in how do we increase the amount of research, science, innovation funding we have in this country. At the moment, I forget when I started, it was maybe 1.3% of GDP was spent on research, science, and innovation. It's now about 1.4%. It's certainly nothing to do with what I've been doing here while at MBIE. But we need to increase that. We need to get it up to 2% at least, which is the current government target. And so currently I'm the Chief Science Advisor at Hekina Whakatūtoki, or MBIE. When I first arrived at Hekina Whakatūtoki, I was very lucky to have a very talented advisor who was working within the science leadership team, which I was leading, and the real focus for her and for the team at that time was around issues of equity, diversity and inclusion. Just how do we get a more diverse research, science and innovation workforce? We've got a lot of really crazy existential crises that have come, like the pandemic. We obviously have climate change, and if we're going to come up with solutions to meet the opportunities and challenge that those types of crises present, then we need really diverse ways of thinking. We need people from diverse backgrounds with really diverse contexts in terms of how they've grown up and the way in which they think about problems. Otherwise, we're really hamstringing ourselves. In the end, a lot of those institutions are actually very sophisticated, and we're already doing fantastic work in that space in terms of building greater equity into their processes and systems, ensuring that they had more diverse staff interacting with what is a very obviously diverse student body. And we really just wanted to get alongside them rather than tell them what to do. So that's been a really fruitful experience working alongside the peak bodies like Science NZ, like Universities New Zealand, and the Independent Research Association of New Zealand has been absolutely fantastic. And I think that's where I've been thrilled. And it's a long journey, we're nowhere near there, is just building those processes that support equity, diversity, inclusion in our research, science and innovation institutions. Alongside that, there's been a real focus on Māori and on expanding Vision Mātauranga. The Vision Mātauranga policy is one that's probably 15 years old at least, is probably not as sophisticated as it needs to be in these modern days. I think Charles Royal did a fantastic job in kicking that off, and so what we've been trying to do as a ministry is get more capability on the grounds.